Name is Jason Franks, and I'm free. My childhood was probably not what someone would expect with my crime. I had two parents that loved the hell out of me. I had extended family. I grew up in Reno. I lived in Alaska. I lived in Denver. I lived in Sacramento. I lived in Tacoma. When I turned 15, I didn't like the rules at home, and so I found my way out the door. I came back a couple times, left a couple more times. I was a good student, all right athlete. The only reason I wanted to go to school was so that I could participate in sports. You know, my parents, they wanted me to do well, and they were actually good parents. When I got into high school, I started running around with different people and got exposed to some stuff, started living fast, decided that the things that we were running around doing were more important than school. I had a 3.83 when I decided that I'd just take my GED and get out of school. So I did that, and basically 9 months later I found myself in San Bernardino County Jail facing a murder charge for a guy that I was left with the impression raped my fiance. I was told I was going to CYA for the educational opportunities because of my youth, and I never made it to CYA. Never got an M number. I went to Chino, and I ended up in Old Folsom, level 4. I started kicking it and figured that that was going to be my life. I didn't have any hopes of getting out. I thought that after talking to more lifers and finding out that my attorney kind of misled me, means that I never was going to YA, figured I'd just die in prison because none of the lifers were getting out and no one had a lot of hope. Nobody really valued life, their own or anybody else's. In '93, I caught a break. I had to go to a level 3, and I went to Susanville. And it wasn't really that much of a break because the politics there were not sophisticated, but there was a heavy white yard, so the whites thought they were running shit. While I was in Susanville in '94, they had a holiday event where they set up an obstacle course on the yard, and you know, they did all the little prison sticky stuff, the handball, the weightlifting, and all that. I was in pretty good shape, and the first day I did the weightlifting competition, I hopped some weight on a squat, and my neck popped, but I didn't think anything of it. Ended up in a fight that night, and got hit, nothing happened. The next day I went to do the obstacle course, and I broke my neck. I was going underneath the obstacle and slid to go underneath the grass. Couldn't move. I didn't think anything of it. I mean, it didn't hurt, it just felt like cold and like someone was sitting on my chest. And one of the MTAs that I knew, she was the one that was treating me. The lieutenant thought I had sunstroke, which was kind of ridiculous. And she stuck a needle in my foot and I didn't move. She started crying and ran off. I kind of figured out something was wrong at that point. So they took me to the street hospital and said that I broke my C6 in 12 pieces. They did surgery, put a plate in, and told my dad to get me a nice wheelchair and try and get me out of prison, because that's where I'd be the rest of my life. I tried getting me a treatment program for therapy and everything else. The institution wasn't having it because of my sentence, because of my crime. So they sent me to Vacaville. And in Vacaville, I had a physical therapist that was great. And he couldn't do anything to get me motivated. He told me I had to do it myself. And he went on vacation. While he was on vacation, this MTA was supposed to be helping me. And he didn't do anything but talk on the phone. And my temper took over from there. So on the third day of the dude blowing me off, I told him I was going to walk. And when I was walking, I was going to come book him. And basically 2.5 months later, I was walking with the walker and then a cane, and then I didn't want to use anything to walk. I was going crazy. I was single-celled, and I felt that I betrayed what I believed in. because I thought that what I was doing at the time was right. You know, I thought that we were really running shit. You know, the recognition is that I wasn't running shit and I was pissing my life away. And my dad put me through a paralegal program. I did that. I tried walking with God, and you know, I was in every Bible study they had. I was going to go to seminary school, American Bible College. It accepted me. I did probably 12 courses that were ongoing, kept earning the units, and just didn't resonate. I didn't take. It wasn't working for me. I needed more information, not reliance on someone else. I knew that I had to bootstrap the whole thing and do it myself. So 2004, they accepted me in the program, and 2006, I went to board, and from SHU, they told me that I seemed to be on the right path, and that little bit of validation was like, hey, maybe I can do this. I went to board, and they found me suitable. They found that I had changed my behavior. I had started doing the work and working on the self-improvement, and was exhibiting pro-social skills and distancing myself from the past. They didn't find that I presented a threat to society, so they gave me a date. And that was just the beginning. Then they have a review period. You get like 120 days while the board investigates your parole plans, you know, where you're going to go, what you're going to do, who you're going to work for, who your support base is, who's really not just sending letters, and who's, you know, participating as part of your support unit, what kind of resources you have, what community you're going to go to, whether you owe restitution, whether it's likely you're actually going to go to work, whether the county that you committed your offense in will accept you back, whether they want you in that community, what kind of risk you are. Are you ex-member? Are you an active member? You know, they scrutinize their panel's decision to ensure that they're not letting anybody out that is going to hurt anybody again. You know, basically they're putting a bet. So I did the 120-day review, and they accepted and impaneled and agreed with their own decision, and then I went to the governor. And so for 30 long-ass days, you know, being a little cynical, I was waiting for Jerry Brown to say no. Just knowing it was too good to be true, because it felt too good. And Jerry Brown didn't say no. So on March 16th, I granted parole. I got to walk out, and everybody says, you don't look back, you don't look back. And it seemed like a trick. I was waiting for there to be just one more door that, you know, didn't open. So I had to look back. I had to make sure there was no more doors. And all the thinking and all the visualizations and all the exercises and all the things that I was doing to try and keep grounded and make sure that I was as ready as I thought I was, all went out the window, because it was just a flood of emotions. It was unlike what I had visualized. You know, it mind-boggling. My stepmom and my dad, they picked me up. We took a picture by the parolee pickup sign, and I was free, man. I was free. We went. They had a hotel. We went. We sat, talked for a few hours, and then I got my first real exposure. I mean, other than a cup of Starbucks coffee that I was all excited about. Went to a restaurant and called BJ's, and it was insane. There's 200 people in this restaurant. They got 8 big screen TVs. They got music pumping, and it was sensory overload. Then I got my meal, and it was hot. It actually tasted like something. There's a knife on my plate. You know, I felt like everybody was staring at me. You know, stepmom and dad, they sure were. It was a lot to take in, man. And like I said, all my little scenarios in my mind, all those hours and days thinking about it paled in comparison. It was awesome. I almost cried over a hamburger.